Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Overland Q&A. Right, I'm going to kick this off rather quick. I think this is going to be the last episode I'm filming outside. It's pretty damn warm here in Dubai. So let's kick it off real quick. Breathless Emotions sent us a question on YouTube. Nice name. So he goes off. Nice video, thank you very much. Which part of Oman is this, and which month was this filmed? So this is a question that came with our episode 6 of Oman Coast series that we've just aired. He goes on to say, keep on coming, keep them coming and keep it dusty. Thank you. We'll keep it dusty as much as we possibly can. So let's get back to the question. Which part of Oman is this? Now, episode 6 we filmed is just outside of Salalah. It's about 100 kilometers north of Salalah. It's a place called Mirbat. You've got, as you're heading outside of Salalah city, hit the ocean, turn left, you're going through quite a bit of construction now. They've laid the new road, and you'll get into an area that kicks off away from the beachfront and heads inland. And that whole inland area, just before you get back to Sada, where it reaches the beach and then follows the beach going all the way up to Hasek and Shwemia and so on and so forth, that internal area is still open right now. There's a massive military base that they're busy building over there. So if you're in the region, go and visit there right now. I don't think we're going to be able to explore much of that in the near future. The walls are up for that military camp over there. So unfortunately, a large portion of Mirbat is not going to be able to be explored. So if you're there, visit it real quick. It's an absolute beauty. There are so many little hooks and crannies over there, beautiful wadi drives. There's a special place that I went down there with a mate, Brad, and my daughter. I think it was the Escaping the Heat, that was it. Our first Salalah series that we did. There's a beach that we ended up over there. It's a wadi drive of about 10, 11 kilometers. And the wildlife in that wadi is phenomenal. We came across beautiful sightings of the Arabian gazelle, and we saw regular sightings of the Arabian fox. So beautiful, beautiful area. Go and visit that. Thanks for the question, Breathless Emotions. Thanks for the nice compliment, mate. Keep watching, and I'll keep it dusty. Next question. Right, this is from Ozzy. Now, this is quite a long question, and I think it's pretty important, so I'll read it out. A very important question that some might be a bit shy to ask, and I believe in that, Ozzy. And thanks for this, by the way. I'm an Oman fan like yourself, and find myself down there nearly every month for some overlanding and dirt biking. Now, I'm going to have to pause this because I don't know if you can hear it, but the mosque has just come on, calling everybody. It's 12:45. I'm not sure why he's on for 12:45, but he's calling them. So I'm going to put this on pause for a second. We'll be back in about 5 minutes when he's done. All right, so let's take 2 of the question. Let's go again. So Ozzy, I'm an Oman fan like yourself, and I find myself down there nearly every month for some overlanding and dirt biking. Awesome. I cannot think of a better country to go and do both those. So keep enjoying that. Like everyone, I love a beer after a long day outdoors, and I've seen you crack open a drink in one of your trips. How do you get your drinks across border? Now, I'm going to start this answer off with a big disclaimer, right, immediately. What I'm about to tell you right now is as of today. My suggestion for border crossings, and every border crossing, whether it be in the Middle East, whether it be going to Oman, whether it be going to Africa, is that research the country that you're crossing into prior to crossing into the country. And a research that is a month old might not be good enough. Research it as close as possible to the time that you're crossing the border. Right, so let's get back to the question. Right now, as it stands, there are a couple of signboards. I think I've got a picture of it. If I do, it'll be on the screen right now, just before you cross the border. And alcohol is allowed. Right, caveat, I'll get back to that. I've gone onto the Oman government site right now. The link is below, and you'll see the screenshot pretty soon as well. At this point in time, you're allowed 2 liters of alcoholic beverages per person over the age of 21. Right, so what does that mean? You can either take a number of beers that equate to the 2 liters, or you can take 2 liters of whiskey or wine, or whatever the case may be, but you only allow 2 liters per person per vehicle. Well, yes. Correct? Yes. 2 liters per person in the vehicle over the age of 21. My suggestion is, what we do is we would obviously take our allowance across the border, and we would arrange with people that live in country to procure additional beverages for us, depending on the length of stay that we're going to be there. So this last trip that we filmed, the Oman coast, which we're busy airing at the moment, we were in Oman for 20 days. So, you know, besides going and stopping off at the hotels and spending a night at the hotels and buying beverages there, you can arrange with people that you know within in the country, and arrange through that have licenses and can purchase for you. So I hope that kind of covers your question. Be very careful. We do get asked when we cross the border, and I do say that I've got a bottle of wine or I've got a bottle of whiskey with me. So I've never been checked to the point where they asked to see it or anything like that. But then again, don't take my word for it. Any person will have a different experience. So the point that I'm trying to make is, do your research before you cross the border and make sure that that research is current. Right, good question, Ozzy, and I think a lot of people wanted to ask that question and just didn't know how to put it across there. So now that I've got it in black and white and I found the official rule that is current, I'm happy to put this out there, and, well, big caveat and disclaimer and everything in there, obviously, for obvious reasons. Right, next question. Now, this question actually came from my son while we were driving the other day. I've got a tire pressure monitor system in my vehicle that not only measures the tire pressure, but also measures the heat of the tire. Now, I've spoken about this in many shows on, you know, what's your tire pressure and what's the heat and so on and so forth. And his question to me was, Dad, now that it's summer, it's running anywhere up to 50 degrees Celsius. The tar road must be close to 60, 70 degrees Celsius. When we get into the car, the tire temperature is about 38 degrees Celsius when we leave in the morning. By the time we've done 10 kilometers, that tire temperature is going up to 46, 47 degrees Celsius. And he's asked me basically, Dad, shouldn't we deflate the tires, because the tire pressure that I've started off at 36 PSI in the front and 42 in the back, by the time we've done that 10 minutes and it's raised from the 38 to 47 degrees Celsius, my tire pressure has also increased significantly. The front goes from 36 all the way up to 39, and the rears go from 42, sometimes all the way up to 48 PSI. So his question was, should we deflate so that they run at the normal pressures? My answer to that is no, don't do that. Check on your tire and see the maximum temperature and the maximum pressure that it can run. If you're exceeding that maximum pressure, then you're going to have a look at, you know, what you're doing. Are you over pressurizing the tire before you start, and by the time it heats up, that it's going over that threshold that the tire can run? Now, for example, on my BFG KO2s, I think it's 50 PSI is the cold temperature that you can go maximum. You can go above that. So I'm mindful when I'm driving and I'm starting at 46 PSI when it's cold and we're driving on the hot temperatures and the car's fully loaded. It's obviously flexing and we're going on, and my tire pressure then goes up to 52, 53, 54. I am not over the threshold because the threshold says 50 PSI at cold conditions. If I was going to be going up to 60 PSI and I was raising to 61 PSI, hell, stop. Let the tires cool down, bring your tire pressure down, because you've obviously overpressurized your tires. So this is not a hard and fast rule, but I think the main question is, should you deflate your tires because you're running in such hot temperatures right now, because the tire pressure is actually going to raise because of the heat? No. Keep your tire pressures at the pressure that it should be cold. So if your vehicle is used to running at 30 PSI or 35 PSI, make sure that at that temperature when you start your vehicle. If it goes up and you're staying within the bandwidth of your tire, you'll be absolutely fine. So Jordan, thanks for that question. I think it's something that I should have come up and actually put it in one of the shows in the past. So this is a pretty long episode. I'm really sorry about that, but I think the questions that we got today, really insightful. Thank you to Ozzy, thank you to Breathless Emotions, and thank you to Jordan. Keep the questions coming in. We got a bunch of questions that I didn't answer this week, but I thought the one with the beverages crossing border, with everybody going away for the vacations coming up with Eid vacation and so on and so forth, a lot of people will be crossing the border. A lot of people watching the show right now want to know where that is, because it's part of where people are planning their trips. So I've pushed these questions above the other questions, but keep them coming. I will answer them during these shows. So stay tuned. Next week, another episode, more questions. Keep them coming in. Sean@expeditionextreme.com. Thanks for watching. If it's dusty, drive it.